Okay, so you guys asked for more ham radio repair. How about a national NC-270 receiver that has not been turned on for 20 years? There it is. Let's pop it open, see what we're up against. Alright, so it's quite evident that this has been stored for a while. A lot of dust, dirt, mold on the knobs. Okay, that's typical. I think what happens is over the years the dirt on your finger and the oils get into all these grooves and things grow. Alright, anyway, it looks like things move. That's a good sign. But the cal knob is frozen. That's typical for these. What I want to do though is get it out of the cabinet, inspect it, and we'll bring her up real slow on a variac, just make sure it powers up. Okay, you're seeing this as I see it. I have not opened this radio. It's actually been here for, I hate to say, about a year. Just finally getting into it. I'm super busy, guys. Things are flowing through the door. I've only got a couple hours a night, so this guy's been very cool about this project. It's kind of a family heirloom, I guess. There's probably screws underneath I'm missing. He got this from his grandfather. Oh yeah, there's more screws under here. Alright, let me get these popped loose and get it out of the cabinet. Alright, so we're ready to pop off the top shell. Yeah, she's a little dusty. But everything's in there. And there's that switch that's froze. That's the calibrate switch. I actually covered this in a past video. Showed how to repair it. It's quite the task, but it's doable. Alright, let's pop the bottom and take a look around. I got the bottom cover off of the 270. Everything looks pretty good. Switches will obviously need to be cleaned and lubed. I see some corrosion on the contacts, a little tarnish. That's typical. Over here though is an area of concern around the filter cap. Something's been pretty warm. It's kind of a dark area on the chassis. I believe these resistors are overheating. More than likely the filter cap is bad. It's leaking, pulling down the high voltage. But we're still going to bring this up slowly on a variac. Make sure the radio comes to life before I get into any serious repair efforts. So yeah, this chassis is pretty dusty. So what I'm going to do initially, I'm going to dust this out. I'm going to put some preliminary cleaner and lube on controls so they move freely, and then we'll bring it up on the variac. Alright, initial power up. I'm on 40 meters, RF gains all the way up, AM mode, 5 kc bandwidth, AF gains up. I'm going to bring up the variac. I'm watching the current right now. I'm going to bring her up nice and slow. I'm going to watch that current. Make sure we don't see any spikes. But it looks like it's going to power up. See a dial lamp right there. Good sign. So I'm at 50 volts applied right now. I just got a jumper wire hooked to it for an antenna, just to see if there's any signs of life. It'll probably run. But I really suspect that filter cap has seen better days. Regardless, that's going to have to be changed. But the main thing is that it powers up, right? And it's doing that. We have 70 volts. Still no audio yet. I'm going to kill the lights, see if the tubes are lighting up. but I'm not up to the full applied power yet either, so I'll go ahead and bring it up a little more. I want to hear something out of that speaker. Okay, I have no audio. Whoa, hey, there she is. Scared B-Lab, okay. Alright, good deal. Got some hiss, but we got some corroded tube sockets here, obviously. Alright, well, I guess it's time to clean and reseat the tubes and we'll try it again. So we're powered up. I do have audio, but there's no intelligence on the audio at all. I notice this tube here is just slightly warm. It's a 12AT7, I believe. It should be a lot warmer than that. Some of these others feel fine, but I think it's time to check tubes, because right now we get nothing. So it could just be a bad tube. We'll check that, and if I find any bad ones, I'll install them. We'll try this thing again. Alright, update. I found one completely dead tube, and I found that these two tubes were reversed. So the RF input tube is over here. So I flipped them around, and now they actually appear to have somewhat a chance of receive. RF gain's working, but this switch is really dirty. The band switch needs some attention. I'm going to give that a really good deoxing. We'll try it again. She's coming to life. The sideband. Yeah. She is coming to life. Alright, now it's looking good. The S meter's working. Now I need to fix this calibrate switch. I can also hear a little bit of warble in that audio. So we already know that filter cap's seen better days. But right now, let me fix this frozen up calibrate switch and see how that works on the other bands that appear to be dead. I bet you they're all actually working. I still need to work on this band switch a little bit. There's some hope for the 270. Well, surprise, surprise, I put a little bit of oil in this switch and let it sit. Look, it's working. I don't have to tear the switch apart. Let's check the calibrator and then we'll move on to the filter cap. Try the calibrator. There it is. Yeah, she's working. Yeah, see? Band switch is still a bit of a problem, but it's working. Here's 40 meters. Let's see if we can find it. I think it's right there. Go to side. Whoa. Yep. Alright, the calibrator is working. Good deal. I did notice that this filter cap is developing heat. Okay? That's a sure sign of leakage. It's time to get it out. There's the original filter cap. It's 3 sections, 40 microfarad at 250. And then the last section is a 20 microfarad at 25 volts, which goes to the cathode of the audio output tube. Alright, so if you look right down there, you can see the base of that 4-section filter cap. A lot of wiring and other components over the top of it. It's going to make it kind of tricky to get to, but if you simply take your time, document things, she'll go in, but you have to be patient. So as usual, to leave myself a little roadmap, I simply get under these terminals, cut them off the filter cap. swing it up out of my way, and I know what wires went to what terminal. Alright, a little filter cap update. To save myself some brain surgery putting in the new cap, I decided to relocate the cathode resistor and a standalone cathode cap onto the audio output tube. So pin 3 now goes to the center terminal of the tube socket. I utilize that to land the 180 ohm resistor and a new 22 microfarad cap to ground. That's going to free me up some space to rewire in the new filter cap. While inspecting this area, I suspect that this filter cap has been changed before. The schematic shows this as a 450 volt cap, whereas the one that's in here is a 250. And if you look down here, you can see a little wire strangler there, right? And this wiring here is kind of baked, right? You can tell these connections have been interrupted. And I was looking at this audio output transformer. I don't believe that's stock either. If you follow that wiring around to the audio output tube, you can see they just tack soldered that lead onto the tube pin. I'm sure National did not do that. So there's been some past maintenance going on here. So the easiest way is just get something underneath there and pry it out of there. It'll pop out. Should probably get that 5Y3 out of my way. She's coming. There it goes. Isn't that lovely? Here's our new CE manufacturing cap. Drops right into place. You'll notice that this is a 40-40 and then 220s. I'm going to strap the 220s in parallel. So this would be a 3-section 40 at 525. Alright, just found another issue. This is supposed to be a 330 ohm resistor. It's over 500. So we're going to change that too. So I've got the new power supply filter cap installed. New 330 ohm resistor. You can see the wiring wasn't too bad. It's nice and open now compared to what it was after you move that other resistor and cap out of the way. This cap, guys, only needs to be about a 50 volt cap on the cathode of the output tube. So why would you buy a 4-section cap and burn up a 450 volt section for it, right? So I routinely do this if there's room. Right, I'm going to bring this thing up slow on a variac, make sure that nothing's wrong. I just noticed this resistor right here, it's really been hot. Looks like it's going to one of the IF cans. Let's see how it measures. It should be 4.7 k ohms. Got my meter rate set up here. Let's see what we got. About 5,800, so she's 1,000 ohms high. Alright, I've got the power supply repaired. Got my DC voltmeter watching the high voltage. I'm going to bring it up on a variac. So we can initially charge that filter cap and also make sure that if she starts flaming out, I can turn it down. Here comes the high voltage. It's a good sign. Alright. There's about 80 volts applied. There's 100. Pulling about ½ amp of current. There she is. She's live. This looks like if I go to approximately 120 volts input, our high voltage is running about 180 volts. Alright, good deal. Let's put some type of an antenna on it, make sure it receives. I've got on 40 meters. Didn't have much of an antenna available, so I've got it hooked to about a 10-foot piece of wire right now. But I still have some cutting out of the band switch. So I really need to clean those contacts on the band selector because the contacts are like coal black. Need to polish those up, get them deoxided and cleaned and lubed, and then we'll put a real antenna on it and see how it does. I also notice there's some sticking in the needle. So the lube up here looks kind of ratty. I see kind of a dust ball down there on the edge of the needle that's catching on the plastic. So I'm going to have to address that too. Alright, so these band switch contacts are black, tarnished. So what I'm going to do is work on this for a while with this Deoxit 100 solution. So I'm pretty much going to coat these. It's kind of a nice little applicator here. So I'm going to get in there and coat these surfaces, let it sit for a little bit, and I'll take a Q-tip and see if I can get those things to polish up. I've been working on these too a little bit. There is some silver coming through, so it's just going to take some time. Okay, the radio's fired up. I'm just checking the calibrator, make sure each band is receiving, so we're at 80 meters. I do not have an antenna hooked up at this time, because I just want to watch the calibrator. So there's 80. There's 40. Alright, looking good. 15 and 10. So looks like 10's pretty dead. I don't even hear the calibrator on 10. Let's see if we can hear it on sideband. There it is. So she's there. There it is. Just on the high band, these are usually pretty dead, so this is not a surprise to me. Alright. Well, it's time to put an antenna on it and see if we can receive some stations. So before I hook it up to my main station antenna, I'm going to pull all these knobs, give them a good soaking, clean off that mold, clean the front panel. I've already taken care of the main tuning dial. The lube up above here on the slide was all gummed up, so I took some lacquer thinner and got that off and re-lubed it. Also cleaned the needle down here where it slides, so she's nice and smooth now. Alright, clean these knobs. We'll give her a functional test.
Like whatever regulator they were using, they didn't put enough heat sink on there.
And here we go. I've got it on my station dipole, 40 meter band.
With no metal backing or no heat sink backing, and then it just gets the board so hot it turns the board brown and
5 TC bandwidth.
And even, if that thing's forced out, it'll burn the board up. It'll actually, burn the circuit print, and then you have to repair
it's
it.
about 2:30 in the afternoon, so the band isn't the best, but it's working great.
R7, the R7 it looks identical to the TR7. The R7 is just a receiver version of the TR7, but you can hook those together and use it as a separate receiver VFO.
Here's 80 meters. Try a different antenna. Nope. Just 20. Left my calibrator on. And there's somebody there. Let's see how well it does on the sideband.
mention other activities and equipment and violations from Chevron, Norwich, and the like too often. But you're in a beautiful part of the country. So you take care and have an enjoyable balance of the day. I know you'll enjoy visiting with family. K2TRD 73 from Jacksonville, Florida. This is WA1GZY.
All right. Good and clear. Here we are on 80 meters. It's about 6:15 Eastern time.
So I try to keep it down to, maybe twice, occasionally 3 times a week. Particularly during the cold winter months, I almost never get on in the summer because my wife and I are really outdoors people, and we like to be outside. I can't see being inside and heating up the shack with this equipment when it's 85 degrees outside. So I thank you also for the nice audio report. I really appreciate that. And I agree with you about the RE27ND. I think it's the perfect microphone for AM, whether it's AM commercial broadcast or it's high fidelity AM city transmission.
A little bit of interference, it sounds like. So I found out that this radio has not been on in like 35 years. I thought it was only 20. But the owner said he has not heard this thing play since his grandpa had it 35 years ago. So it's working again. Here's a little 80 meter sideband.
Jack Sprague, Jim. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year coming up. Thanks for checking in tonight. This is Jim with the Minnesota Section Phone Net looking for additional check-ins. Over. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. 73.